Hey everybody. All right, so we are ready to start another number routine. This is something that we've done with numbers a few times now, so it should start feeling pretty comfortable for you. If you do have questions, it's a good one to reach out to someone in your house to talk about. So, the key word for this one is estimate. Okay, so they don't necessarily need the right answer. In fact, when we start, I might even tell you the right answer because that's not going to be our focus today. We want to get close to the right answer. This math skill that we're working on is coming up with an estimate to get almost the right answer or about the right answer. So for these, you don't necessarily need to get the exact right answer. The first addend we have to think about is the number 32. So when I look at 32, I like to think about a number line. The nice even numbers, the nice numbers that are friendly, that 32 is close to, is 30 and 40. So where would 32 be on this number line? Well, it would be pretty close to the start, right? So it's pretty easy to see that 32 is about the same as 30. So I could almost cross off this 32 and just deal with 30 instead. It's easier to think about, it's easier to come up with an estimate if you don't have tens and ones. See how I got rid of the ones? That's going to save me some thinking. All right, second addend, 84. So the numbers, the tens that 84 is close to is either 80 or 90. 84 is probably getting closer to the middle there. Is it closer to 80 or 90? It's closer to 80. So for this problem here, 32 plus 84, you could get the exact answer, but that's not what they're asking us to do. They're asking us to take 8 tens and add 3 more tens. So we're going to have 9, 10, 11, and then a 0 in the back. So I think the answer, is about 110. Somewhere close. Now, the real answer to this is 116. We did not get the exact right answer, but we are close. And that's what we're asking you to do. So on the next seesaw slide, you will see a number routine where you have to estimate the sum. Don't forget to round to the nearest 10. Okay, that's going to make it easier for you to come up with an estimate. All right, here's the one that you're going to do. I'll just skip over that and I'll tell you that our job today is to use some everyday items that kind of fit the size of those customary units we've learned. So maybe a paperclip, a math book, and maybe a baseball bat. Those would be things that fit the size of inches. Math book would be about the same size as a foot. And then a meter, or I should say a yard, is about the same as a baseball bat. So here we have a problem. Bryce wants to find the length of this bookcase, but he doesn't really have a measuring tool to use. Wants to get the length of the bookcase, but doesn't have a tool to use. Well, how could he or she find the length of the bookcase? Doesn't have a tool, so she could maybe use a stapler. She could use a book. She could use her arm. Whatever you have around that is about the right length, right? Let's see what we're doing next. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is what are some everyday objects that are about an inch long. So maybe a cap of a marker would be an inch long. Maybe a paper clip would be an inch long. Maybe a quarter would be an inch long. An inch is relatively small, so you need to pick an everyday object that's pretty small. What are some objects that are an inch long? Paper clip, quarter, marker cap. That's what I think of. Okay. what are some everyday objects that are a foot long? So now we're talking about bigger things. Maybe that book in your book box is about a foot long. Maybe the arm is about a foot long. Let's see, what else would be a foot long? Your dad's foot would be a foot long. These are some everyday objects that are about a foot long. Oh, there they are. Look, math book, a whole bunch of paper clips, all put together, right? Would be maybe, I wouldn't say that was a foot long. I would say that was an inch long. And then if you put a bunch of them together, they become a foot. And then what are some objects that are longer, like a yard long? Well, I hinted that a baseball bat would be a good choice. Maybe if you look at a door, how wide a door is about a yard. How wide your refrigerator is, that's about a yard. Maybe how tall or how long your dad's leg is, that's about a yard. So, I know we don't always carry around these rulers or measuring sticks. So sometimes when they want us to measure something, we're just going to have to use things that are around. So, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. What could we use to measure this bookcase? Well, I have some books. So I'm just going to grab them and I'm going to line them up. So I'm going to start at the start. One math book. Two math books. Three. Four. Five. Six. So this isn't exactly my guess, but I would say, somewhere around 6. 6 inches? No, these are not paper clips. 6 yards? No, these are not baseball bats. These are about the same as 1 foot. About. So my estimate is that this bookshelf is about 6 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, you can use everyday objects to help you come up with estimates. When they ask you, think about an inch, small, paperclip. Think about a foot, medium, math book. Or think about yard, pretty big, kind of like a baseball bat. Those objects will help you get an idea in your head of what those units are. Excellent. So on your own today, you're going to be given things and you're going to have to use these everyday objects to estimate. So for example, if I gave you a table and I asked you, what is a good estimate? You'd say, I'd use math books and it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 math books. My estimate would be 5 feet. It's pretty close. And if I took out a tape measure and I actually measured it, you would be pretty close. All right, so first object you're going to do is you're going to do a marker. Would you rather, or what would work better, do you think? If you were measuring a marker, would you do it with paper clips or would you do it with math books? Circle which one would work better. Here is the door. Now this time we're going from the top all the way to the bottom, up and down. Would you rather use science tiles to measure little tiny inches all the way up? Or would you do science books? Which one would work better for a whiteboard? Paper clips or clipboards? If we want to go from one side of the area rug all the way to the other side of the area rug, would you use little tiny tiles, color tiles, or would you use your math book over and over again? A sticky note, science book, or color tile? Which one would be easier to measure the sticky note? Bracelet, paper clips, or clipboard? What would you use to measure the bracelet? And then I'm going to have you estimate using these little inch cubes about how long is this glue bottle. You can write your answer on the line. About how long is this wire. Remember, this clipboard is about a foot. So how many feet long is this wire? You're going to write it on the line. I think I have one more for you to do. It's a story about May and her hairbrush. You have to figure out where she made a silly mistake. So there'll be a button for you to click. It'll read the story to you, and then you just have to figure out what part of the story maybe she made a mistake on. And then on the next slide, we have a good old math game for you to play. Okay, everybody? Thanks now. Bye.